Anames and Blue sit in the center of a small space. The floor is Duracrete. There's a large door on one side with light coming in through small transparent steel windows. Little staircase leads to another door that if you were to go in, you would get to Sol Dixon's kitchen. A workbench is on one wall, and he has kindly moved his speeder out to the street to give the two of you space. What are the two of you doing?
Aname sits cross-legged. She sets the 3 lightsabers in a triangle in between them and holds out her hands and asks Blue to hold her hands.
Blue takes Aname's hands.
And she says, close your eyes.
They close their eyes.
And reach out with the Force. Can you feel me?
I think so.
Can you feel the Kyber in the lightsabers?
Yes, that I can feel.
Can you describe it to me?
It's strange. It's not like anything I've felt before. It's almost like a timeline. Like when we were in the History Museum and they had those holograms of when things came from.
They hold memories. And they have a well. Can you feel yours?
Yes.
Can you feel what it wants?
Not quite.
It's okay. It'll come. Can you try reaching out a little further?
I can try.
To the next room? Can you feel other life?
I can feel some bugs in the corner.
What do they look like in the Force?
They look like paths of where they came from and where they're going.
Yes. As do we all. Because we're all part of the Force, and yet ourselves. Because we exist in balance within it, living and giving life. Because life itself is power. Life itself is what keeps everything going.
You hear from inside the house.
Anames, Blue. Lunch is ready.
That completely snaps her out of it.
You see that Blue's eyes are open as well. They still hold onto your hands, and they say, I thought Jedi weren't supposed to form attachments.
I thought I told you I'm not a Jedi.
Started with Mir digging at the tunnel back to the Kyber and finally getting there and going, oh, good, it's the last one. As he's dusty and broken and scraped up, he finally reaches the pocket of where the device was.
Mm-hmm.
The device has long been, batteries long since died.
Yep.
But the rocks and cracks, rocks and debris have formed a dome.
Kring is hauling rocks out behind you as you move them out of the way.
Well, I didn't totally fail, Kring. Look. We were able to save some. Some's better than none, right? It is something. I guess all's not lost. Okay, now we got to give them a new home, a safer home. I don't really think a noodle bath is what they need, but at the same time, a proper bath would make sense. It would be probably good for them. After all, they were moss covered for a long time. And so recouping some of those minerals, I think you're right. I think that would be a good idea. I don't know about the starch, using it as a cement. I think that might be a little much, but with your medical knowledge, you might be right. I was thinking, ooh, a Gundark bone broth, that would be something there, But I was thinking maybe taking them far from here. I was thinking maybe going out to the Ribal system, and kind of a Noah place. I think I have an idea of a nice cave. Maybe we might be able to find my brother there. At least got to look, right? Gotta find them. How soon are you done with school?
He begins packing the Kyber crystals in the bag that you brought.
Well then, you ever steal a ship? Well, once, you learn something. Twice, you become fluent in it, right? That's true. You'll probably never become fluent in basic. Nope.
And Mir and Kring crawl out of the tunnel that they've made under these rocks back to the passage below the theater and back up to the surface. And what's next?
I think Mir projects kind of a map of the galaxy. He looks around to where the system would be if he was to be directly pointed at it. And with the projection, he points to where Dantooine is. There. That's where we're going to go. We're going to go there. We're going to start there.
Our view zooms into the Ryobalo sector and past the Angor system to Dantooine, the 3 other planets orbiting around its star. And that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it.
The speeder that Sol Dixon has is a classic.
Yeah.
Been around for a long time.
Yeah.
So Mir goes, I remember when these speeders first came off the line. I remember seeing a flimsy blast. I was with my old friend Farvo, and he had the greatest ship. Maybe if we're lucky, we can go find it. But he loved working on these sort of vehicles. So there's an art to these when they were still made, not just for production and not just for how many people they can fit in them or their efficiency. They were made as art pieces to be shown and that you could live part of your life into them. And they became part of you. In life, there's going to be times when you're going to have to learn how to drive and you're going to put scratches on your perfect car or your perfect speeder. You're going to wreck it and you're going to have to figure out how to replace parts on it. And all that's art. It's patience. It's not always going to be great fun. It's going to all come at a cost. Like, why does he have these power converters situated this way? That's not how they came off the line. I see why he's doing it. But if you want a muscle car, a muscle speeder, to be able to go up and down as fast, you're going to have to reroute these a totally different way.
Eddie is sitting at Sol's workbench on the stool, leaning back against the bench, just throwing a ball up above his head and catching it, throwing it and catching it. Sol comes out and sees you're working on his car.
Hey, don't touch those power converters.
Your power converters are misaligned. And you got a redundant system here? That's just gonna...
I put that system in. It's not redundant.
Backwards?
You just don't know what it does.
What?
Kid, come over here.
Fine. Gets up and comes over and leans into the engine of the car.
Hold on to this.
This?
Yeah, hold on to that.
And Sol goes over to the workbench and gets a tool. Starts working on the capacitor that Addie's holding on to.
Sometimes you gotta get your hands dirty. You listening to this, Shard?
Yeah, I guess.
Let me tell you, he's been around the block. He knows a thing or two.
Okay.
Vehicles like this, you gotta listen to it. It'll tell you what it needs.
You know, this speeder capacitor, that's not stock, which makes sense that it wouldn't be stock since it's been, out of production good 30, 40 years. But that doesn't look necessarily street legal either.
Hey, I know legal.
Yeah, and whatever's under the hood, so long as that hood doesn't come up, everything's fine.
At this point, Anames comes out into the garage and starts digging around at the workbench, and then kind of crows to herself As she pulls up an airbrush.
No. Hey, no.
Saul,
You are
Saul,
not painting this vehicle.
Have you ever seen those speeders with the flames on the back?
I have.
They go faster.
Those are for mods and wannabes.
No. Not the way I would do it. If I do it, it's not going to be like anything you've seen before.
Now, listen, you get your own speeder. My buddy Mir and I will fix it up and you can paint it whatever color you want to.
That seems fair. That seems fair. Besides, you're probably going to want it to go faster than this one will go.
Besides, I thought
too.
I saw some scratches on your fender.
Just showing Addie how to back out. That's all. That's all.
Really? I was just guessing that somebody rear-ended him at work.
It was probably that new guy, Pinnell.
Oh, Pinnell.
Anyways, I don't work for them anymore. Yep, me and the old RSF have parted ways. We didn't see things eye to eye.
Oh, the one you said was really clumsy?
Well, he's really something.
Anyway, I was just thinking I would cover up those scratches before they get worse.
Not with that thing, you're not.
Well, I'm not using a paintbrush on a speeder.
No, this is chrome. You're not using any paint on this thing.
It's a whole different process. It's an art to be able to chrome things.
I think as Anames is going over this stuff on that workbench, it's Saul's stuff and some bits and pieces that Mir has brought along, and Anames and Blue have been opening up that lightsaber of Ozum's and taking a look at how it works, and maybe she's been showing Blue how the construction of these things work. Saul finishes what Addie's holding on to, and Addie goes back to the bench and has a seat. You've noticed for the past little while that he's been quiet. I think at some point Park came by and paid him a visit. The two of them went to school together. Blue has made some arrangements for them to move off-world back to where their father lives on Chandrilla. Blue's been out making preparations for the past couple hours.
Mir goes, I've heard, I've read, I watched Hollow and read some stuff that Chandrilla has quite the art academy there. I think, you'd excel at it. You're still drawing, right?
Not in a while now.
Oh, well, and I guess I still won then, since you haven't actually produced anything lately, Still got that journal?
Yeah, I do, actually.
Sometimes that helps with getting stuff off your chest and things.
Yeah, creating something. That helps.
Sometimes even creating something that will outlive you.
He nods and turns to the desk. Anames puts the airbrush back with Saul's help.
Put the airbrush back.
And I think the two of them go inside while Mir continues working on the engine. And Addie grabs a piece of paper and from nearby on the workbench, and he reaches for a pencil, and it moves an inch into his hand. What is time to a shard? How many years have passed? How few years have passed? Wind sweeps across the cold plains. Dust and snow mingle, covering everything with a layer of wet grime. The land is barren, lifeless, frozen earth, cracked like dry parchment, marred by time and constant storms. Overhead, the sky thickens, bloated clouds churning over the distant mountains. All is quiet, save the sound of the wind and the creak of metallic joints. Danto stands alone on the dead earth. His chassis, metal, dented and dulled, bears the scars of an age. He looks down at the frost-laden device in his three-fingered hand, no longer blinking, but showing a solid red light. His gaze turns to the sky as a distant rumble, not thunder this time, but the deeper sound of a machine, begins to louden. The clouds part, torn apart by the arrival of an old ship, a remnant of the Clone Wars, its hull a patchwork of plating and carbon scoring. It descends on engines that stutter, and with a groan it extends its landing gears, kicking up a cyclone of dust and ice as its wings fold upward. Its ramp lowers with an angry hiss, revealing a black void. From the shadows step two figures, cloaked against the cold. The first moves with quiet authority, her silhouette moving steadily against the shifting storm. She lowers her hood, revealing the pale, lined face of an Erusian. Cracks trace a pattern across her chalky skin, all of which lead to her left eye, golden, cybernetic. "You have done well, my friend," she calls, cutting through the rising storm. She approaches, gloved fingers reaching for the device Danto holds. "See this through, and you will be rewarded," she says, taking the device. She glances at the readings and then toward her companion. The second figure does not pause, moving away from the ship, boots crunching against the pale earth. They hold something ancient, an artifact that has waited in silence for millennia. A hilt, dark as the void between stars. Its edges are worn by the passage of time. Cryptic runes are etched into its metal, their true meaning lost to time. The grip is wrapped in weathered, blackened material, perhaps leather, burnished with age. It no longer looks natural. Near the emitter, the crossguard extends, like hooks reaching toward the sky. The figure holds it before them like some dark divining rod. And then they stop, finding the spot they sought, holding the hilt out before them. The wind whips their cloak around them, driving their hood back. Lightning streaks from cloud to cloud, illuminating the Kafek's feline features, their teeth bared in a twisted grin of anticipation. Thunder crashes, reverberating through the bones of the world. They let go of the hilt. The hilt hovers, suspended in the air as if awaiting orders from an unseen force. A heartbeat of silence. Then, with a hiss and a growl, the weapon comes alive. The crossguard ignites first, twin crimson blades flaring in the darkness. Then its main blade blooms, its blood-red light unfurling slowly. The saber reorients in the air, its point aimed downward, and then it plunges into the earth. The earth does not simply crack, it bleeds. The wound spreads out in jagged veins of burning red. The lightning spears down, striking the ground in rapid succession. And beneath the ground, something shifts. The land rises. Black spires surge from the ground like the grasping fingers of a slumbering god. A pyramid begins to rise, the monolith ascending from the broken land, its surface lined with glowing red. The Kafeks opens their arms wide as if to embrace the newly awakened monument, their eyes gleaming, their smile toothy and wild. "At long last," the Erusian calls, triumphant over the din. "Our great work is nearly complete. Come, Shard," she commands, turning her single golden eye onto Danto. "There is still work to be done." Thank you for listening to Hearts of Kyber. Thank you to AJ and Rill for playing on these episodes. You can follow AJ on Instagram at AJ_Kimball. And you can find all of us on the Nightcast Discord. Come join the community. Links in the show notes. While you're waiting for the final arc of Coruscant Nights Season 2, catch up on what we're doing on YouTube. This week we've started a weekly update, news from the Nightoverse, where you can keep on top of everything Nightcast Creative is doing as soon as we're doing it. Coruscant Nights is a production of Nightcast Creative. For more about us and the things that we make, visit nightcastcreative.com.